Spoiler warning before I begin the video. Okay, so I haven't actually played Cyberpunk 2077, but I still decided to watch the show because take a look at the art. Just take a look at it. Simply amazing. And likely you don't have to play the games to get into it. So if you're a noob like me and are looking for an entry point into this universe, this is a good place as any to start your journey into the majestic world of Night City. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone 10-episode story series set in the world of the titular Cyberpunk 2077 game. The story follows David Martinez, a street kid who, due to unfortunate circumstances, is plunged into a technological world that is obsessed with body modification. In order to stay alive, he fits himself with a military-grade cyberware called the Ghostrifter. This way, he can become an edgerunner. That is, a mercenary outlaw, also known as a cyberpunk. I haven't actually watched a lot of cyberpunk material, so I just want to say that beforehand, I don't really know what makes a good cyberpunk story. But the little I do know about the genre is that most of their stories can be quite gloomy. I feel that most futuristic cyberpunk stories are used to critique the rapid rise of technology and how they could impact us in the future, good or bad, giving us an abstract insight into what could be our future. So most of these cyberpunk stories are written around that theme, and Cyberpunk Edgerunners is no exception. The show kicks off by introducing us to the young David Martinez, who lives with his single mother and is quite the troublesome student. David's mom believes that her son is meant for great things, just like any mother would. She believed her son could rise among the ranks and reach the top floor of Arasaka Tower, which is all well and good, but after his mom died, he kinda seemed to have internalized that philosophy. In the series, David had all sorts of people tell him that he is special, and him having the ability to withstand the cyber implants, especially the Ghostrifter, only reinforced that notion.
What makes you think you're any different?
It just feels right. I'm built different. I just know it.
Believe yourself to be special?
Why not?
Deep down, he was carrying this weight on his shoulders that he needed to uphold people's high expectations of him. David in particular didn't show that he had a goal or a dream he wanted to achieve personally, so after Main's tragic descent into cyberpsychosis, David picked up the slack and his gear to lead the team to do edgerunner missions. And with time, just like Main, he started to lose it. He went through various implants to be able to incorporate Main's technology onto him, which in the end was slowly driving him insane, turning him into a cyber psycho. I never understood why he did this, to be honest. I thought that since he saw Main go out of control, he would take as many precautions as possible to delay his dive into cyberpsychosis. But in the end, he still followed Main's footsteps. He felt he had a responsibility to lead a team, to continue Main's legacy. He was risking his life to fulfill the promise or the dreams of the ones who trusted him, those who called him special. Like taking up Main's arms and upholding his dream of trying to be the best edgerunner, or trying to get Lucy to the moon, or making it to the top of Arasaka Tower like his mother wanted. He was carrying a responsibility to fulfill a concept that made him feel important, that made him feel needed. And in the end, it took him to his doom. David did have an abnormally high tolerance to cyberware, but he was still human. Him believing that he was special only steeled his resolve to pursue a dream that was not his.
You could say I'm special.
Well, so the fuck am I!
And because he refused to slow down, he was put to a stop permanently. Night City, although very beautiful, has a way to corrupt those who live within it. David might have been special, but it was never about the money or the power or the allure the city brings. He was never swayed by that. For him, it was always about the people who loved him that mattered, the ones he cared for. But just as the city corrupted him by taking away someone that he cared for, he found himself doing the same thing. He was now the guy on the other side of the trigger. In the end, I feel like the cyberpsychosis is a sort of allegory to people being corrupted by the seduction of making it big in Night City. They begin to lose their humanity. There are a lot of deaths in this show, it's crazy. I knew from the beginning that there will be a lot of killing, with the way they show their blood and gore, but killing off more than half of the main characters is crazy. I loved most of the characters introduced to us, but I wasn't really as invested into any of the characters except David and Lucy. But when the members of the immediate team started dying, you will be at the edge of your seat with each encounter. I seriously have a question to ask the creators, like, why did they have to kill Rebecca? Why did she have to die? Why did David have to die? But I guess we should have seen it coming. These cyberpunk stories, most often than not, end up with a rather depressing story, while being accompanied with some amazing art. It kinda hits harder too. Speaking of, let's talk about the visuals. This series has really detailed backgrounds. You could pause a scene to take a picture and it will make a good wallpaper. The characters are less detailed, which is a good thing, so that they would be able to emote and animate properly without resorting to 3D models. The anime looks pretty fascinating. In certain low light scenes, the characters are lit with 2 neon lights or 2 complementary colors. I actually found this pretty creative and fun to look at, by the way. It did complete that neon light nightlife vibe. The vibe I got coming up from the very first episode was pretty interesting. Paired with fast-paced action sequences, I knew I was in for something special. We are then taken out of the simulation with David into the world of Night City. The city is bright and cheerful in the day. Not to say it cannot get heated with violence, we are still given the usual explosive battles here and there. Nevertheless, the vibrant colors during the day creates a sort of peaceful atmosphere all around, and is accompanied by upbeat music to complete the vibe during the daytime. And at night, the streets light up in a neon-colored glow, giving it a calm, mysterious, and somewhat euphoric feeling. And the steady punk music in the background, that's what to immerse you into the thrill of the scene. And not long after David's mother's unforeseen death, we are then taken into a more melancholic scene, showing the less stellar parts of the city, with rubbish lying around the dull environment, complemented with somber music to complete the mood. The music used in this anime comprises of both music from the video games and original anime only music, so if you have played a game, you might hear a familiar tune here and there. But with that said, I did enjoy the series overall. I'm glad it helped to revive the people's love for Night City, so that they can go back to the game, boot it up, and give it a shot once again after its abysmal launch. But with that said, what are your thoughts about Cyberpunk Edgerunners? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Maybe you played the game and you are disappointed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and always remember to keep moving forward.